Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. I'd like to welcome you all to the show. 2019, the start of 2019, we're dealing with first Jasmine Barnes, who I still believe that all the facts and details are not out. Something is strange about this case. You had a racial judicial activist, a racial justice activist by the name of King, Mr. King, who, after putting up $100,000 reward money, Eric Black Jr. turns himself in and said he was part of the killing. After the red truck was never found, or the white man with the beard and the blue eyes was never found, which, though the follow-up leads just to, you want his take. So we got to see what's going on, just to see his knowledge of the case. Why was he that close? Why was she able to identify him from that close proximity range? You would have to test timelines. You would have to test the distance from the shot of the gun into the mother and sweet young Jasmine Barnes to determine the distance from the shooter to its victims. And then you'd have to test the distance from where Eric Black Jr. stated he was and how he thought it was a mistaken identity. He shoots in the car. Because the energy, the momentum was building up here in Houston. People wanted the justice for Jasmine. Now, if it had been a white man, there would have been justice, even if it would have been street justice, just to send a message that the attacks on innocent black people, those days are gone and over, and we'll deal with you accordingly if you still have that mindset and you want to inflict pain in today's time, because it's over. The young black male, 20 years old, if this is what really happened, but this is the narrative that they're giving us, so okay, we'll run with that. If Eric Black Jr., 20 years old, he confesses and he states that he shot young Jasmine Barnes, murdered her, because he thought it was some people who he had confrontation with the night prior. We got to make an example out of him, because we have to separate. We have to separate those who tired of the future of young black people being snubbed out by black people, and we have to come together and turn on those blacks who are willing to do harm towards innocent victims just because they feel that they have a run of the streets. See, those days are gone too. Over. We'll gather a posse. We'll hunt you down as if you were a racist white supremacist, because you have a racist white supremacist mindset. You're coming to do their bidding. You're not working for us. Your whole actions, your mindset, your time that you put into something is not spent putting your time into the benefit and the upliftment of us. Your time is spent destroying us at the will of your father, which must be the devil. Like she said, she saw his blue eyes. So y'all on the same team. You're not on our team just because you have melanin in your skin. Your mind has been corrupted, and the love, the final call, the warning that Brother Farrakhan gives out is to bring you home. As they say, welcome home. But you don't want to be welcomed home. You love it with your slave master. You love being the enemy, and we're about to run out of patience and time waiting on you to get it right, to join us, to build, to be an example, and to create something positive for people in America. Then we have to go back into history and study the different tribes. As is stated in the video, the Renaissance, I believe he is a African, or he could be a Hebrew. I'm not sure. But as he states, the Hottentots, the Fullers, the Negroes, wait, the who? They're trying to say that the Negroes was a distinct tribe that had distinct features that lived in Africa, that migrated to Africa up in Guinea. And when the Europeans came looking for slaves, you know, I'm wanting to research that history because they're telling me that that's where the slaves come from Guinea. That the Africans, the chiefs, sold the people who were not originally from there, stating that they came to Guinea, to West Africa, start building villages, start being prosperous, was actually taking over. The people was actually upset and didn't really like them, got jealous of them, envious of them. They were so envious that they were willing to sell them into slavery, said take them. They prospered too fast. Who were the Guinea? Now, the people now, research says, which I don't know if this, to be honest with you, this is just research, but you can go do your own research. Research states that those people came out of Jerusalem. That they were the original Hebrews. Also, the black natives, the original natives in the Americas, same people, said that they had to give them religion in order to control them because they were heavily practicing magic. Said that they could control the elements. Said that these people were so in tune with the universe that they could control the elements, that it feared the Europeans or the Caucasians or the white mindset, to where they had to find a way to get them up under a religion. Yeah, you see what I mean? That these people who traveled out of Jerusalem to Africa, why did they flee Jerusalem? Well, we got to research that. Why did they flee? Get ran out of Jerusalem? Was it because of after the war, Knights Templars? Was it because the Caucasians was coming and was hitting Jerusalem first and they had to flee into Africa? Then from Africa they captured them, brought them to the Americas, and saw their long lost brethren, the blacks that made the journey to the Americas over 14 to 15,000 years ago. Very interesting. How does all this tie into Jasmine Barnes? Because we are all the same people. But we've had evil crime perpetrated against us. One, we was hit in the head, so we lost our knowledge of self and who we are. Two, our land was stolen from us. 3, they made it so we wouldn't recognize one another. And with all that happening, then the result of that is you have a dismembered body of people attacking one another with no love, care, and kind for one another, and that did not put economics and knowledge at the forefront of the mind, because there was a rule, a law, that blacks couldn't read and write in America. We got all that to get off from up under. All the lies and the myths and the propagandas and why would the conqueror or the colonizer, why was he so interested in creating propaganda, lies, and myths dealing with the original people? All of that it was necessary in order for him to rule for 6,000 years. That was the agreement. It ended in 1914, but he had to rule, and he used every trick at his disposal to complete the allotted amount of time. And it was done. But it's not on him anymore, because God is God. So the real question is, what's taking us so long as a people to rise up to our greatest and fullest potential? That's the question. What's the problem? What's in your way? You know, you think 400, 500, 600, 1,000 years ago is a long time? That's a drop in the bucket. That's why you still finding artifacts from 500, 6,000 years ago. It's still there. It was just yesterday. You thinking this, you seeing time as this elaborate distance between one period to the next period, but actually with the mind's eye, distance is short. You can blink your eyes and that's that distance. You can blink your eyes and go back into your Akashic records. You can blink your eyes and go back into your ancestors, speak with your ancestors. You walking on the same land. You going by the same foundations that they built with their energy still resonates amongst that particular area. It's all a part of you. Now, because this is not, it has nothing to do with race. I don't want people to say, oh man, he's reverse racism and all that. Now we just dealing with the fact that the Caucasian had to do certain things in order for him to maintain a rule of 6,000 years. That was the agreement and he did it. But even the Caucasian got to realize you wasn't put in position of power. First of all, who put you there? And you wasn't put there to rule forever. No, that's just not what that wasn't what the deal was. And if you listen to Brother Farrakhan, he breaks it all down. Go get the lecture series, The Time and What Must Be Done. Watch all of them by Minister Farrakhan, The Time and What Must Be Done, and you'll get the whole scope. So now we at the border wall. Now the border wall is very interesting because this here is deciding the presidential election for 2020. Whether Trump will be reelected or whether, and if Trump screws this up, any Democrat that runs will be, they damn near shoo in. Hell, Pelosi could be president if Trump screws this up dealing with this wall. Because the initial statement was Mexico was going to pay for the wall. Then it went from a wall, concrete, to steel barriers. And he has to understand, when you boldly come on television and say you so bold and bad that you can even make Mexico pay for a wall to keep Hispanics out of a wall, when Texas was part of Mexico on the southern border side, if you that bad, everybody wants to see it. Because that's like walking on water. What you did was you created a miracle. And so they want to see it. They want to see this miracle. It can't back down to a steel barrier and we'll Congress to pay for it. That's not gonna fly, man. That is simply, I'm sorry, that's not gonna fly in today's time. They want to see that miracle of Mexico paying for it. That would say that you was the baddest president that America has ever known. It would say, man, this dude is so bad, he got Mexico to pay for a wall to block them out. You know, that and that's the message it would be sending. And people would be like, hey man, don't mess with Trump. That's the dude that got Mexico to pay for a wall to keep them out. That's bad as bad can get. You know? So hey, 2019 is gonna be a good year. It's starting off a little rugged. But when I say good year, I'm meaning that all the trash, all the garbage and the filth and the waste is coming out so it can be removed, so it can be swept up. All the trash is showing itself so it can be swept up and discarded properly. Vero Peak Radio, we're out.